All right, I'm gonna try and do hair on this. We're gonna do a couple of different ways to do hair. This is the way I'm suggesting for people who are not used to doing hair. I think this is the least likely, the highest chance of success, okay? When you're doing hair, there's a couple of things you need to think about. Number one is the starting point of your hair. My hair is dirty. I have not washed it since Thursday. Um, so if the pageant's Saturday, or for my pro cheer girls, if your game's Saturday, I recommend like washing on Thursday or Wednesday, curling Friday, because I think a second day curly hair is the easiest way to have a chance of success because there's already some curl in it. Also, if you have naturally curly hair and you're wanting to do a curl with a curling iron, this will still work. If you are wanting to do your natural curls, I'm not the girl to talk to, and I'm so sorry. I have other people you can talk to if that's what you want. So first thing is, how is your hair when you start with it? You want it completely dry, a little dirty, and there's a couple of different suggestions on product. So my favorite product for hair is this TIGI bedhead stick. This is sticky and it will make your hair look greasy if you use it too much. But where I use it is I put it right at the front because it lifts the root just a little bit and it keeps everything together. Also, if my hair is like frizzy, then I'll put it on my palms and just so that it's not like, when it sticks up right at the part? That's what I suggest. If you want to do a center part, do a center part, fine. I think most people look better with a side part, but I'm also a millennial, so take it for what it's worth. The other thing is I will tease my hair to get it some volume. Oh, the healthier your hair, the harder this will be. If you have not been curling your hair and teasing your hair for years, your hair is going to really struggle to do this. It can happen, but it's going to struggle. So I will take my hair and I'll put, so I have two different, so Nexus is a cheap brand for hairspray. I mean, it's not cheap, cheap. It's like minimum. This is like 10 bucks, I think. Um, I used Suave for years, which is cheap, cheap. And it was fine. I just like this because it's fast. I also think that it's cute because it's rose gold. And I'll take 3 chunks, put some hairspray in there. And I have a paddle brush to do this with. You can do it with a the thinner brushes that they have, or you can do it with a comb. See how huge that is? And then I just brush it out. This is going to be personal preference. I do think, and I know that there's styles that come and go and change, but if you look at Miss America's stage right now, they are still teasing their hair. So this is Nexus. If you want to invest in a really great hairspray, I really like Kevin Murphy. You usually have to buy this through a stylist. Um, One of my sponsors for my pro dance team in 2022, they sponsored us was Kevin Murphy. So I have this bottle that I use very rarely, but I just wanted to show you a few. Um, and like I said, the healthier your hair, the harder this will be. So my hair is not healthy because it's blonde. This is really hard in here. And so you can see that I teased it before I even started. So I teased the sides, and we don't want to look like, my high school 2008. So we got to tease the back too. And you can just do the top. If you have super healthy hair, I actually recommend teasing the entire hair from top to bottom at the root because that will give you more volume. Um, and if you're gonna tease your hair and hurt it for one weekend, I promise it will not super kill your hair. It's one weekend, just make it happen. And then in the back, I go a little bit further down. So you can see I did like 4 different rows here. I know, I'm a millennial. I promise they're still teasing their hair at Miss America. Okay. So, and then I like literally just like brush it out. So there's still lift and volume, but I started with doing that so that it's already in there. And then depending, you can actually go back through. If you're gonna have curls that you brush out, which is definitely what I suggest, and not brush, I mean brush like with your fingers. Um, so I already have like some lift, like I can like go out there right now, yeah? there's a couple of different ways to do this. So this technique, you can, if you're very new to this, get a clip claw and claw your hair up and do it in layers. I'm gonna show you without a clip claw and do it from back to front. So I'm gonna take the most back piece of my hair, and this is the left side of my head. I am right-handed. I like to curl away from my face. So if you take this and you take it up to the top, oh, this is really hard to show. Um, Maybe I'll have to do, the reason why I go from the back to the front is so that I know that I got every piece. Now the biggest thing when you curl, and we're gonna do technique for the curl. Well, when you let it go, you have to hold on to it for a little bit. And there's a different technique that I do for this where you can actually pin it up. But if it's still hot when you let it go, you're gonna lose your curl. So hold on to it for a minute, and then I'll just like let it go like on my shoulder so that it's still in its curling phase. And when we get closer to my face, I'll show you how I hold the curling iron because oh, I also put a little bit of hairspray already in my hair. So before I came in here, I just sprayed it and like brushed it so that there was hairspray in there. And I'm curling all of my hairs on this side of my face away from my face. There's different techniques for this, but I'm just kind of trying to show you how fast it can go, and I'm also, doing it without a mirror. So I'm going from the back to the front. So I'm taking the backmost pieces, and you can see like this is across my whole bottom to top of my head. If you have a choice, it's best to curl the bottom pieces together and the top pieces together. If you have layers, especially. So like the wise thing would be to take like, okay, here's like a bottom piece. So this piece of hair is longer than some of my other pieces of hair. So I'm taking a bottom piece. Don't want the piece that's already curled. This is really hard in this. I might do another one in the actual mirror. I'm curling it away from my hair. Like I said, when I get closer to my face, we'll talk actual technique. Hold it for a little bit. Also, just make it hot. The hotter your curling iron, the easier this will be, the faster you can get it done. If you're doing this every single day to your hair, yes, it will damage your hair. But if you have brand new, fresh, virgin hair, just get it hot. Okay, so you can see I took a bottom piece there. Now I'm taking a top piece here because I have layers, and so it helps the layer curl better when I have a top piece and a bottom piece. I'm not sure that this is very helpful. I'm sorry, girls. Like I said, as I get closer to my face, it'll be easier to show you the technique that I'm using. You can see on the technique that I'm currently using, I will probably end up having 12 or 13 curls on this side. I'm taking small pieces of hair. I'm curling it away from my face. I don't know that I can do this. Let me see if I can move the camera. There we go. You can see some of my papers on my desk, but that's okay. It's just because where the cord is and where I have to plug it in. Okay. Now we're going to talk some techniques. So you can see how pretty those curls are. I do not, if you are not used to doing this, I would use a smaller curling iron. The smaller the curling iron, the more chance you have of success of getting curls. Okay, so now I'm going to take this piece and I'm taking the curling iron. This is my right hand. I'm putting it facing down. I'm putting it, this is on top of the hair. I'm opening it and I'm curling it away from my hair. So if I'm looking right at the camera, the top of my hand, whoops, the top of my hand is like the curl is going away from my face. Maybe if I do it behind, ooh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna turn around. And always make sure, because sometimes you'll push the buttons. Okay, so I'm gonna turn around. Yeah, here we go. I'm gonna just unplug this for a second. Okay. So I'm taking a piece of hair. Okay, taking a piece of hair. I'm taking it like this, and I'm bringing the hair up and around to go behind. I'm opening the thing and putting it in the thing. The reason why I'm putting it in the thing is because then any of the shorter hairs that I have, is it showing? Any of the shorter hairs that I have will go in there. And then you kind of move it around like this. So you take your thumb and you let the cover that's bringing the hair into it go around and around, because you're bringing that closer to the curling iron. Then you can hold it there and you can see once again, it's facing this way, it's going outwards, and I'm right-handed. If you're left-handed, this would be how your hand would look on the right side of your head. And then I hold it for a second, and then I let it go. Now I'm gonna do this last piece. So I'm taking this, I'm coming up and over, I'm bringing it back towards my head, open it, let it in, and put it all inside of it. I'm putting it flat on the iron so that it does a pageant curl. I'm holding it like that. I can move this, move my thumb a little bit, like open it just a little bit and move it so it curls it more. And you can hold this as long as you want, but the key really is when you let it go, hold on to it and let it cool down for a minute and then let it go. Okay. Once you've done the whole side, spray that and don't run your fingers through it yet because I still have some hot pieces. Now, I'm going to show you here. I'm just going to do the left side. I've got to keep this hot and then we'll do the thing at the end where I turn around. I'm hoping this is helpful. And I think this is the hardest one to do a tutorial for, this technique. I am going to show you guys other techniques. This one is the one that I think is just the easiest to be the most fail-proof. Once again, I'm taking it from the very back. I'll put it in my mouth. If you have really creamy lipstick, don't do that because you'll get lipstick on your hair. You can see I'm taking the furthest back. Once this is done, I'm putting it on my shoulder so it can cool down on my shoulder. You can see that when some goes away, I'll wrap it around again and kind of like suck it in, like let it go, hold on to it, put it here. And if you're just learning how to do this, starting with the ones in front to get the technique might actually be easiest. So I'm probably doing this video the wrong way for you, but starting in the back to make sure you get everything is helpful too. And like I said, you can clip up the rest of your hair and focus on one portion at a time. I'm just showing this way because I think it's the easiest without, to have the least tools. Okay, now for these last ones, I'm going to turn around again. I hope that that is helpful. but that's the easiest ones to show. Because once again, the top of the curling iron is at the top of my head. Like, or actually, I guess I'd call it the bottom of the curling iron. My hand is at the top when I'm curling. Okay, now we can show it from behind. Okay. So I'm taking, these are the last two pieces. Okay. It's next to my head. It's wrapping around. Oh, and the first wrap, you don't put underneath this or you'll get a crease. So you put the first wrap here and then you go underneath. So you can see once again, my hand is at the top of my head, at the top of my curl. And then once I get to the bottom, I can kind of move that down and like suck it in and keep twirling it. So my hair is curling away from my face. And the first wrap, sorry, I didn't say that. I do things that I don't know that I'm doing. You got to wrap it on top, otherwise you're going to get a crease right at the top. So you wrap it around and then put it inside. Or if you have a wand, this would also work. If you have a wand, then you don't put it inside at all. So a wand doesn't have this thing. Shoot, I don't know what that was in. Okay. And then this, once again, I'm starting. Trying to see if I'm actually in frame. Starting at the top, I wrapped it around the first time without putting it inside. Now I'm putting it inside and I wrap it around, everything's flat. I hold it on. My hand is at the top. This is going facing downward. My hair is going away from my face. So on my left side, it's going counterclockwise. On my right side, it's going clockwise, yeah? And then when I let go, you let it fall down into your hand. If you have not done this before, it might be smart to wear some gloves. My fingertips cannot feel heat anymore, so if you're like, she's touching the curling iron, yes, I am. I've curled my hair for so long that I don't have sensitivity on my tips of my fingers anymore. So now you can see I'm gonna spray this. So I just finished both sides. Now, I mean, I have hair that's ready to go, but when you're gonna be using it all day, and if you're just doing it and we're like an hour before the show, you can just leave your curls don't put your fingers through them yet. And then there's two different ways to get your hair kind of fluffed right before. You can take your hands and just kind of brush through it-ish. You're just separating the curls, right? So you're just separating a little bit so that it's not one big curl. And then I'm gonna do it on this side. And you can see for this look, all of my curls are going away from my face. Yeah. The other thing that I like to do is just that, and that will separate all your curls. And I always do that right before the curtain opens. You can see this is a bigger curl, very good pageant curl. Let me switch you back over here. Yeah, very big pageant curl. If your curls start this big and you have super, super healthy hair, it might not stay in. So I'm going to show you techniques with a smaller curling iron as well. This curling iron is 3/4 of an inch. A lot of people even like to do a 1-inch barrel. This is as big as I go for this type of look, but you can see that this is very, very pageanty. Now, if I do this earlier in the day, I can come back because I want my curls separated anyway, I can come back, and if I feel like I need a little bit more va-va-voom on the lift, I can come back in and give it a little bit more lift later because the curls are separated. If you're doing curls that are not separated, you cannot come back after the fact and end this. And by what I mean by curls that are not separated is like all of these different curls came from different curls on when I curled the hair. If you're not keeping them, how do I explain this? I might have to do a picture. Here, let me share my screen. Let me show you not separated curls. And right now the thing is separated curls. And that's kind of always been the thing for pageant. Separated curls. Share screen. So these are with curly separated curls. Curling iron. Oh, well, that's a really good example though. Um, so you can see these curls are like that's the curl that she did on the curling iron. That's the curl that she did on the curling iron. Here's a really good example of these are not separated because she did the curl on the curling iron and kept them like that. So if that's the look that you want, which I don't necessarily recommend for this venue, I you can't go back and add volume in to the top of your hair after the fact. So that is technique number one. I hope this is helpful. When I curl my hair like this, like I said, it typically takes 7 or 8 minutes. This was longer because I'm trying to show you, but you can do it very quickly. And this is just one technique that you can try. Tomorrow when I curl my hair, I'll show you another technique. Um, but yeah, this is, I think you just curl it, you let it go, you spray it, make sure you're starting with dirty hair, and then the three suggestions that I have, oh, here. So this is good for like little wispies. TIGI bedhead. This is 12 bucks on Amazon. Nexus, you can get this at Walmart. I think it's like 12 bucks. Um, I also like this one. It's got 2B. This is pomade. So you can put it in your hair before to get your hair a little dirty if you're starting with super clean hair. A little bit goes a long way with this. And then, like I said, I like the Kevin Murphy spray. Um, and keep in mind, you'll have dressing rooms in the back. You can go back and fix your hair a little bit. If this is for my pro tier girls, I recommend always starting with a little bit tighter curl because you're going to be out there and sweating. And you don't want to ruin your hair before halftime because you usually only get to come back in after your halftime performance and fix your hair. So there's that. I hope this was helpful.